call the meeting between the Board of Selectmen, Finance Committee joint meeting to order, and all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda this evening is the fiscal year 2015 year-end transfers, and I'll turn it over to our acting town administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is truly housekeeping. We meet at this time every year, and I appreciate everyone coming out to meet tonight on an off night for both boards. Back in 2003, the Municipal Relief Act authorized these type of year-end transfers for fiscal 2004 and 2005 only. Then in 2006, a statute was adopted and implemented to make it permanent. I've attached here an informational guideline release that was issued by the Department of Revenue back in 2006 explaining the process, and I've also attached a copy of the actual statute, Chapter 44, Section 33B. What it is that departmental transfers can be made within departments other than a municipal light source or a school department, $5,000 or 3% of the total departmental budget, whichever is more. Again, this spreadsheet we've been using for several years now, so those of you who are not new to the process, you will recognize it. These are the transfers that I'm proposing. In those instances where the transfers from one department total greater than $5,000, I have put down at the bottom, I've calculated 3% of that department's budget, so you can see that it's not more than 3% of a departmental budget. I don't know if the committees want me to go through each one line by line or whatever is the pleasure of the chairs.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Could I just ask, this list is transfers from?
No, what that list is the 3% calculation of each of those departments' budgets. Because, as you can see, from the police department, I'm proposing transferring $9,000, which is more than 5. So I want you to be able to ascertain that I'm not going above 3% of that department's budget.
So if we go by department.
Okay, so...
Mr. Fenimore, are you okay with that? Are you okay with that, going by department?
Yes, my board has a few questions if I'm out of
Okay.
Okay, so stop me if you have questions. The first line is within my department, town accountant. However, it's from, again, everyone realizes that we vote our budgets by subtotals, so town meeting vote is required if we're going to make transfers from expenses to salaries or salaries to expenses or anything like that. So this takes the place of that. This authorizes to be able to do this without calling a special town meeting. So from town accountant other expenses to town accountant salaries, MCPPO certification stipend. When my contract was renegotiated at the beginning of this fiscal year, fiscal 15, I did not seek an increase in my salary, but I did ask for $1,000 for the MCPPO certification, which was granted by the Board of Selectmen. Assessors. Senior clerk. These funds are available due to the retirement of our principal clerk in that office, and the senior clerk then transferred to the principal clerk position, so there are funds available in the senior clerk position because that position was not filled until today. And Selectmen longevity, $2,000. That was actually that principal clerk was paid her longevity payment of $2,000, so we're funding it from that budget. And then town treasurer clerk, which was a new position, we needed funding there.
Is that the assessors clerk? Is that the transfer from the
tax collector's office?
Collector's office?
Correct, and that transfer occurred today.
And can I just ask one question? Now, on the timing of these, some of these, like your salary was renegotiated way back in January, remember?
It was after the budget,
Move the mic.
To the microphone.
Okay.
it was after the budget process was complete for fiscal 15.
Oh, it was?
Correct. So the budget did not take that into consideration. Otherwise, I would have budgeted for it like I did this year. But it was after,
So anything that happens after.
Correct.
FY15,
correct,
that's when we're seeing it now.
correct,
Even
in
though
this
we
case.
know things have happened during there. In this particular case.
I don't understand, I'm sorry. So this is, now remember, we're talking, these are fiscal 15 transfers to close my books for fiscal
Correct.
15. So the approval of my contract, occurred after the annual town meeting in May 2014.
Yeah.
So therefore, it wasn't funded, but it was approved in the contract without funding.
All right. So we have to wait till the end of the year to approve that line item transfer?
No, I could have done it at any of the town meetings.
Okay.
Yeah. But I wanted to wait, what I do in many cases is I wait to see, again, if the department can support anything like this, and in this case, it can. I didn't spend about $2,000 of my expense budget, so I want my department to pay for my expense. So many times I wait till the end of the year. Okay, the town treasurer legal services, again, this is just within a department, but from expenses to salaries, to town treasurer, part-time clerk, town collector. The town collector is also the parking clerk. I know that looks funny, 12 cents, but that's the way my mind works. The parking clerk stipend, when we paid out at the end of June, ended up 12 cents in a deficit, so I'm funding that from funds available in the town collector, her salary line item. And then town collector other expenses, there are sufficient funds available there to be transferred to the town treasurer clerk.
I've got a question on this one. The parking clerk, you have it down as a stipend, because we have a regulation that says that no employee get 2 salaries. Yet you didn't do the same thing for the elected treasurer now, not making that a stipend. That's number one. Number two, my second part of that question, or, my second part of that question is, if the parking clerk has the time to take from her office to do the services as the parking clerk, but claims that the office that she is presently in charge of needs assistance and extra help, desperate was the terminology I heard. Why is this person still a parking clerk? Why isn't that position given to a senior citizen or someone other than that?
Just to clarify, Mr. Finnemore, your comments earlier about a stipend and a separate position and comparing this to the treasurer. 2 different animals, totally different animals. The town collector, by virtue of her position, is the parking clerk. So she's compensated for that additional work she does as the town collector
We've always
slash
had a
parking
separate
clerk.
parking clerk, which
No, we
was-
always have not, Mr. Finnemore.
Which was a senior citizen.
I believe,
And
Yeah,
that
Mrs.
person had a
Madden.
part-time salary.
correct. And that wasn't, I think Virgie hasn't been here for 10 years maybe.
Well, that poor person passed on, so the position then was offered to the present person. My argument at this point with the board, or my inquiry, which would be part of an argument, is if you can't, if you don't have the people for your department to do the work correctly, and you have to get someone else in there, what are you doing moving from there once a week and going to another section of town and doing a separate job?
And that is not the case. The town collector handles these type of issues in her office within the course of her duties within a day, within a normal day. And as far as the collector complaining that, I mean, I haven't heard that. So she has 2 clerks in that office with her. It's a very busy office, but as I said, this has been this way for 10 years now at least. That the town collector, as part of her duties, is also the parking clerk. However, it's above and beyond, so we give her a stipend. We give her a stipend for that, we do.
Mr. Bazinet has a question. It's part of the job, as you said.
It's part of the job,
Make sure you grab the mic, Mr. Bazinet, so that they can hear you.
Yeah, turn it on from the bottom.
Turn it on from the bottom.
If it's on?
Yes, it's on.
Okay. If it's part of the job, why does it allow a stipend?
Again, 10 years ago, this is what was put into place and has not changed since. And actually, the stipend has not changed either. It has stayed the same.
Well, maybe it was wrong in the first place.
I don't feel it was. I feel this is something above and beyond. She does within the course of her duties, and that it's legitimate to receive a stipend for it. We do this often with many other positions.
Well, the point I'm trying to get across, it's her job. She knows what it is, but yet she's getting a stipend for doing the parking.
She is.
So she should fall into that job description.
If you look at Mass General laws and read what a town collector does, it does not include parking clerk. Does not.
She has to get stipend.
No, it doesn't. That was the decision of the powers that be 10 years ago.
Isn't the job as a parking clerk, as the town collector, an established job with a salary base to do that job?
To do the job of the town collector.
Right. So then.
That's what they're elected to do, is to be the town treasurer, because it's an elected position.
And that's what we pay them to do that
Right.
job, whether
Correct.
it takes X number of hours a day or a week.
Right.
So anything over and above that, why is that? That's the way we've been doing it for 10 years.
Well,
Why is that an
well,
answer?
I understand, just for clarification, what Pam is saying, that previously there was another person that was in that position
And the town
who
collector.
did that position as, with that $5,000 at the time, I'm assuming they called it a salary or stipend. Now, with that said, with that person no longer here, this person, the treasurer, took it over. Now, what I want you to understand is that if we were to take that position, that $4,999.88 plus another 12 cents, that brings that stipend to $5,000. And that opens up retirement. Is that correct? If we have another person in that position?
No.
Not for 1 day,
This,
not 1 day a week, no.
the annual stipend is actually $5,658 a year.
So,
Yeah.
So that
But
makes
if it's part of, if the interim town administrator is correct, and it is part of the duties of the collector,
Now, because she's agreed to take them on 10 years ago.
but if it's part of, I thought you said the state law.
No.
Oh,
I said the
I'm
town
sorry.
collector, as defined by state law, does not include the duties of a parking clerk. This individual agreed to take those duties on when Mrs. Mangan left, and she was paid a stipend. She agreed to take it for a stipend,
Well,
and she has done those duties ever since.
if we're going to have a parking clerk, with all due respect to the board, I would appreciate it if you would look into giving that position to a senior citizen who actually needs that stipend or that salary, the way we did prior years. There is no, I honestly don't believe there is a necessity for this person to take her time from her duties when she says she needs 3 people in that office, herself and 2 others. If it wasn't critical that she needed 3 people in there, I would say it's totally different.
do you have it, Mr. Fenimore, do you have it in writing that she needs more people?
Excuse me?
Do you have it in writing that she needs more people?
She just interviewed and hired someone that's starting today, or Wednesday, the 13th.
Because the individual who was in her office transferred
Right.
through the union process
another
to the,
position.
to the assessor. This is not an additional position.
It's been the wish of the finance board for the past 15 years that we have a floating person between the assessors and the collector. That would be the senior clerk or a clerk. We have introduced this, or we have made this presentation several times in previous boards. We feel that 2 people in each office, 4 people, is more than necessary. And having 3 people, one floating back and forth during the times when the assessor is busy, the secretary works in the assessor's office. When the collector is busy, she works in the he works in the collector's office. We have always maintained that would be a better procedure. It would also save the town quite a few dollars. I don't understand if there should be some sort of a method in which the selectmen and the finance board and the interim and the regular administrator can come to some kind of terms on what's going on. We know that we're doing 4 bills a year, but only 2 are going out a year. They go 2 go out at each time, so we get there's a rush. I'm told there's 1,300 people that don't pay their bills, and they have another rush at that point. But if you only have 2 rushes a year, one with non-payers and the bills going out, why do you need 4 people?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman,
Sure.
through you. Do you have any idea, Mr. Finnemore, it's not only real estate and personal property taxes that flow through that office, it's
It
also
is.
water and sewer
Right.
4 times a year.
I know
It's
it's-
also motor vehicle excise, which are with supplemental commitments of probably 10, up to 10 a year of motor vehicle excise. All of these bills go through that office. Again, even the assessor's office, motor vehicle excise, boat excise. It's not just real estate and personal property.
Mr. Chairman.
Mrs. Regis, do you realize you just made my argument? If there's that much work there, why is this person taking time off to be a parking clerk? You just made my argument.
But no, your argument is that this individual is claiming that she needs additional staff.
You just said.
She does not need additional staff. I've never heard her say that. She wants to maintain the staff she has. And that's what we've done. 2 clerks and the tax collector. And our department heads, especially in the financial departments, because I can speak to that, we are all working department heads. We are not department heads who sit in our office, make decisions, and delegate. Mrs. McGarry works the window daily.
No, I'm not using names, please.
She's an elected collector. She works the window daily. This is what we do. But I find it frustrating to listen to, and everyone has their own opinion about they don't need this, they don't need that, but when you say it as a statement like that, I wish that you could see what these departments do and how busy they are every day, day in and day out.
I have spoken to both the treasurer, the collector, and I have spoken to the assessor. They both make very good arguments, but it's twice a year that the bills go out. I realize that the excise taxes go out on a daily basis, and it's twice a year that they have these massive non-payment. And like I said, I was told it's up to 1,300 residents that either forget to pay the second or the 4th bill because they get them simultaneously. But again, if you need the personnel, I know that in my business how many people I need and when I need them. I know my business. As a businessman, I know when I have to go out and get a clerk or somebody to come in and give me assistance and how many times a year. I don't need it on a daily basis. And I'm sure that any businessman here or anybody in the town will tell you the same thing. It's not a 5-day-a-week, 8-hour-a-day.
Oh, I completely
demand.
disagree with that
Mr.
statement.
Chairman.
I
Completely.
just made the suggestion to the board.
Completely
But it-
disagree.
Just a point, I wouldn't go to Mr. Finnemore's business and try to tell him what staff he needs. We have department heads who run their departments. The Board of Selectmen nor the Finance Committee should attempt to run someone's department. They are competent, I would assume. Otherwise, we would hear from the acting town administrator or the town accountant's office. I just find it unusual that we're trying to set staffing here. That's the job of a manager. It's not the job of our board or the job of the finance committee, as far as I'm concerned.
Finance-
Mr., hang on one second.
Go ahead.
No, we have Mr. Bazinet next.
Yes, now Pam, these bills are farmed out, aren't they? They're not done here.
No, they're processed here. The farming out, if you will,
The
is
mailing and all that.
stuffing and mailing.
Mhm.
But as far as processing and then taking in the payments, posting all of the payments, following up with any delinquent payments, that is all done in-house, everything. The only thing that is farmed out is stuffing and mailing. That's it.
So you send it to some company just to put it in an envelope? and
Correct,
send it out?
because they have a big machine that costs a lot of money that does that for them, so it doesn't have to be done manually, because we don't have that type of machine here.
And, you know, and the purpose of us here tonight is to authorize these transfers and not talk about personnel and who needs what in what department. We can certainly set another date, if necessary, to sit here and have a discussion with the town administrator, acting town administrator, if there is a need to look at what department may have too much overhead or not enough. This we do every year, and this is the first time I think that this type of thing has come up since I've been a selectman, that we've had this type of discussion during the end of the year transfers.
Mr. Chairman, if you recall, we normally sit downstairs at 6 o'clock and go over these, and we make a recommendation. We give it to the accountant. She comes up, she says the finance board recommends approval or disapproval. This is the first time we've really had sat together and gone over them. It's something, it's in front of us now. Our job, as far as I know, of the finance board, is to maintain some sort of a budgetary restrictions and ability to get out there with other people where their dollars are being spent, and if it's being spent properly. We can ask you, and we could advise the people. We can't change anything. The changes have to come from that side of the table. We can only inform you that we see this as a Achilles heel, and we'd like to know if you want to take it up. It's your prerogative to take it up or not to take it up.
And I'm not,
That's all we're doing.
and I'm not speaking for anyone on the board, I'm speaking for myself here, but if we're talking about $5,000 on the night of a transfer, and you're saying that this has been an Achilles heel for you for 10 years, why wasn't this discussed before?
It's brought up every year. It's brought up every year. This is not the first time it was brought up. I just figured we have the meeting, a joint meeting. You should know that this year, if you're going to maintain $5,000 a year for that position, give it to somebody outside the town board. Give it to somebody. We used to give it to a senior citizen who needed the money to augment their Social Security check, their tax check, or something like that.
I don't know.
Oh, no, I have a copy.
Oh, you do?
If you want to pass it
Oh,
around.
we do.
Oh, quite.
What's
Thank
the
you.
next one?
Okay. Personnel board medical expenses, there were funds left over. The school, we budget $5,000 a year. The town uses $2,500. The school did not utilize their $2,500, so that was available, again, to fund the town treasurer clerk.
For the benefit of the Board of Selectmen, we have appointed 2 more members to the Personnel Board, and we hope that we get an active Personnel Board for the 2016 fiscal year.
Town clerk, we have several transfers from town clerk's expense budget into election workers. And then we did a transfer at the May special to purchase some additional of those new voting booths. This is in addition to that $2,800 that was voted, $218 to finish that up. Code enforcement professional services, a transfer again within the budget from expenses to salaries to the code enforcement assistant town planner and overtime account. From the police vehicle maintenance account to the harbor master capital outlay account. I was notified a few weeks ago that one of our police boats, the engine it died. It died, and it needed to be replaced. So the police department were able this year to fund that from their operating budget. We have several
Is there any way that we can ask assistance from the state? See if we help control their waterways, paying for this cost?
I doubt it.
We can ask.
We can ask, but I doubt, yeah, we can ask, absolutely. Fire department, there are several, there's money left over in part-time other labor and their gasoline account to fund town treasurer, assistant treasurer, town treasurer clerk, election workers, veteran services, the part-time clerk, elections printing and copying, and 30 cents for the lease payment for the fire vehicle. DPW overtime, I'm proposing to transfer. We were in a deficit for the town office building overtime for our custodial help here. Library adult services librarian, that position was left vacant. We are currently recruiting to fill that position, but it was left vacant for the last 3 months or so of fiscal 15. So there are funds available there to fund the town treasurer, clerk, and part-time clerk. And again, the deficits in the town treasurer salaries lines, that is because, as most of you know, with the unfortunate passing of a longtime employee here, we funded her buyout to her estate from within their salary budget. So that is the reason for these deficits.
These, for the town treasurer and the clerk, you're taking these out there in 2015.
These are all 2015 transfers, Mr. Lenke. Are there any additional questions?
Any other questions from the finance committee?
So you have like a running total of this throughout the year then? Or you kind of know where the money's gonna come from when shortfalls exist?
No, actually, we wait till the end of the year. I do whatever transfers I can at the special town meetings, and then we wait till the end of the year to see if the departments are able to fund any deficits that may occur within their department. Correct. And most of our departments do very well with that. They're very cognizant of their budgets, and they understand that, so.
Earl, did you have any, you had a question?
Well, I just would like to, extend this meeting at a future date to discuss some of these personnel issues and stipends that aren't appropriate at this meeting. I agree with that, but I equally as strongly agree that there needs to be some discussion. And I think we all should be on the same page as far as working efficiently, not this is the way it's been done sort of thing. I think we all have to work together to tighten and look for opportunities. I think that's all our jobs here.
No, without a doubt. And just to make a comment about something that you had said, Mr. Finnemore, there isn't a line drawn in the sand here when you had mentioned that you guys take care of it. It's not that way. We all want to work together to make sure everything works.
No, what I said is we're advisory.
Right.
We
want this to be.
We can request and we can advise, but it's got to come from that side of the table.
Right, but we want it to be, we want everyone to be able to work together to succeed. We don't want it to fail.
In the past 24 years that I've been on and off the finance board, very seldom are we not able to work with either a select board or a town administrator. Very, very seldom. We had a few rocky years there, but over the past 24 years that I can remember, maybe 4 out of the 24 were rocky. So, yeah, I think the selectmen have bent over backwards. I think town administrators, to a degree, have bent over backwards. There have been times that there were animosity between the two boards, but I think Mr. McCullough buried most of those in the past 6 or 8 years that he was here. And we've gotten along very well, both the school committee, and we've gone into almost every town meeting in the past 10 years unified. And I'd like to see that continue, but we do have a few. We have to be able to get out there, get the message out to people that their money is being spent this way, it's properly being spent, and, it may only be sound to you like $5,000 or $1,000 stipend, but you know, thousands and 5,000, 12 cents, it adds up.
No, without a doubt, and the board does understand that this isn't our money, it's taxpayers' money. We completely understand that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The only thing I'd like to add is if we do have discussions like that, we should simply give the department heads a heads up so that they can be here to talk.
Absolutely.
And that's what I found awkward. It's just awkward to talk about this without the department's head here answering those questions, that's all.
We, for the edification of
And I know the finance committee does that with them, but not with us.
No,
we have, I normally set up, subcommittees, so that 9, 10, 12 people don't rush a department head. And the subcommittee, we ask the subcommittee a question, and they go to the department head, and they get the answer from the finance board, and they bring the answer back at a meeting. That's the way I like to operate, instead of having 12 people rush any particular department. I haven't set it up this year. Last year we set one up, the year before we set one up, but we've had a transition, and it'll be set up again in September, the same way. So that we don't go as a group to a department. We go, 1 or 2 people go to the department head. This is what the finance committee would like to know. This is what we want to present to the town meeting. What is your why? What is your goal? What has it been? So on and so forth.
And that makes perfect sense. I know more than 20 years ago when I was on the finance committee, we did the same thing under Mr. Stalick. So,
Good.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
Mr. Chairman, I've been on this board for, this is my 4th year. I wanted to be on a finance committee because I wanted to know where the money was going. And you can't do things what we did 25 years ago. It's new technology today. I was on a delegation to go to look at the fire department because I was on the delegate to see what the fire department needed, what they had, Mr. President and I, and we were refused information. You can attest to that. The information we got from the town administrator, it changed every time I had a meeting. Changed, you know, the numbers changed, this changed. To be truthful, I don't know if we needed the money or we didn't need the money. But I have to say, since Pam took over, we don't have the money, Pam.
I don't, Mr. Lincoln.
She took over, her information is totally correct what she gives us. I have to say that. I want the rest of everything we get from her, we know where we stand. We know where the money's going. I disagree with her. I disagree on the stipends. Because if you got a job and you got another little job, why give you a stipend? Your job, like the tax collector, I have no qualms. You know, we had a pocket where they used to get a stipend from the fines. You know, she used to give me that up. We don't have that anymore. The town clerk takes over now. So we have to give her a stipend with the $5,000 that we're looking at.
Okay.
Like Mr. Fenimore said, we gotta give it to a senior citizen, you know, with knowledge and paperwork and maybe a little computers and everything else. But to give her that stipend, I just can't see it. Or give a stipend, I don't want anybody to get mad at me. Give a stipend to anybody that works in this town hall. They got a job, either they were given a job by town administrator or the board of selectmen, or they were elected to that board. That you got that job and you knew what the pay was. Don't let anybody say, well, oh, you got the job. Now I'm gonna think you're gonna get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, whatever the stipend is. I disagree with that.
We will, we'll take it up at a future meeting, so make sure you put that down in the future. Any questions from the Board of Selectmen on the transfers? Do you want to take a vote with your board? And then we'll take a vote?
Your secretary, well, our secretary, where is she? You want to take a vote off board, please, all the board? First of all, is there a motion to accept?
Yes.
Motion and second. All the board, please.
Ms. Besnett?
No.
Ms. Delmena?
Yes.
Mr. Gaber?
Yes.
Mr. Linky?
Yes.
Make a motion to accept or approve these.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Dolder?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Bork?
Yes. Next item on the agenda was other business unknown at time of posting.
You have I believe the secretary gave you a copy of an article that was passed at the 2011 meeting. Mr. Joe and I passed back and forth a few comments on it, and I just wanted the board to be aware of what's out there on social media. And I don't know, from what I can understand from this article, it's to instruct the board of selectmen to accept the acts of 1958, chapter 334, and then there's a continuance of that motion here, and it was passed. Now, I went to the dictionary to look up instruct, and it says direct or command someone to do something. If my memory serves me correct, when we had this vote at the town meeting, and right after the town meeting, the people were told that it's strictly advisory. If you go by meaning of the word instruct, it's not advisory. So I'd like the board to take another close look at this, because it is the will of the people.
Yeah, do we have a better copy? I seem to be missing some words on
So
this copy.
maybe what we can do is, Pam, maybe we can pull some of that information together for our first meeting in August to look
Okay.
at that.
Okay.
Any other business unknown at time of posting? All right, do you want it, Mr. Fenimore, do you want to adjourn your board and then we'll adjourn ours?
Do I hear a motion?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Any other discussion? Courtney, pull the board.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Selectman Dolder?
Yes.
Selectman Dugevich?
Yes.
Chairman Bork?
Yes, thank you very much.
No, thank you, gentlemen, for listening.